Okay. We are going live. This is Karen with newclevelandradio.net, and it's time for What in the World with Paul Seaburn and his sidekick, John Donalo. And today we're going to have a great show. I promise you that, because Paul's going to be talking about Bigfoot footprints and Grassman baseball in Northeast Ohio. Now, I want you to listen very closely to that, because in our show notes, we're going to have more information about the Grassman in Ohio, and something that Paul and I are going to start doing next week. We're going on a venture. We're going to go looking for Bigfoot. Yes, we are. And if you know where he is, please let us know. Meantime, Paul is going to be talking about a popular singer who's mad at the Rock Hall and the worst way to listen to music. Is there a bad way to listen to music? Okay, you'll tell us. And dinosaurs at college, and something about a flying Rubik's Cube. Wow, I'm excited about today's show, because it's brought to you by What in the World and the infamous Paul Seaburn. Welcome.
Hey, wow, thank you so much for that great introduction, Karen, and for letting me know what I'm going to be talking about today.
Excellent.
We should have a rehearsal, that would help. Yeah, it's me, Paul Seaburn, your host of What in the World, everybody's favorite weird news podcast. Real news, sometimes strange, always funny. That's our motto. I'm Paul Seaburn again, your host. If you came to us from Mysterious Universe, my old job, thank you so much for joining us from there, or from Facebook, where I am in pretty much a almost 24/7 presence, putting in funny stuff out there, things that I might be talking about. Also, unusual things happening around the world in UFOs and Bigfoot, and I dabble in multiple categories. Let's put it that way. So thank you for joining us from there. If you're live, boy, that wonderful. Thank you for joining us at 3:30 on Tuesday. That's our regular time, Eastern Daylight Time. So you can listen to us live. We are usually on live, except for last week. I was in Houston. I'll talk about that in a second. Where else could you be visiting us from? If you're visiting from newclevelandradio.net or from Karen Hale's webpage or her Facebook page, thank you so much for doing that as well. Visit newclevelandradio.net for more information about our podcast and all the great podcasts that our producer, Karen Hale, and co-host, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net produces every week. Great podcast, lots of fun, lots of really useful information. Also, while you're there, check out Yes I Can Coaching with Karen, which is also one of our sponsors. You need coaching services, throw your needs at Karen. Let's see what she can do. She's got all kind of certifications. I think that you'll be surprised at the type of services she can offer in the coaching world. So, also, Channel 13 is our partner. That is Cleveland News 13, WCTU. Please visit them at clevelandnews13.com.
Yeah.
clevelandnews13.com. So check out their website as well. If you're visiting us from there, boy, thank you so much for doing that, because we're still new. We're still getting our checking out our relationship and figuring out how to work together better. So thanks so much. Tell your friends about it as well. Okay, the other voice you heard in your other ear is none other than our co-host, color commentator, host of What in the World of Sports with John Donalo. Yeah, it's him, John Donalo. Hi, John. How you doing?
Hi, Paul. Karen and audience, doing great. As you can see, I have my Cavaliers gear on today. Cavaliers have come back and won two important games in the playoffs. Against the vaunted. What's the name of the team that they're playing again? Oh yeah, the Detroit Pistons. They were ranked number one in the Eastern Conference. But so hope springs eternal. They're back even, and now it's a 3-game series. So good luck to our Cavaliers.
Yeah, that's right. It's a 3-game series. Next game is tomorrow. Guardians seem to be playing a little better, so
Yeah, they are as well too. So
Yeah, yeah.
the Browns rookies were in camp the last week or whatever it was. So a lot of things happening on the sports front in Northeast Ohio.
That's
Yep.
right. Yeah, nothing too bad.
And
So
how about those monsters? The
how
Lake Erie
about are
Monsters are
they
doing well too.
are they doing well?
Yes, yes, they are.
I will have to check on them. We should spend more time with the monsters since we do talk about monsters on our
Yes,
show.
yes, absolutely.
And we should give them more attention, clearly.
Yeah,
Karen's right.
yeah, both the hockey kind and the other kind. Okay, so Karen did a nice job of recapping. Well, let's see. If you do it before you talk about it, it's not a recap. What is it? A precap?
A
Recap.
preview.
Review. Thank you.
Review.
Well, there's a reason why we have John Denalo on it show on it, and it's for instances like that when he qualifies and verifies and fills us in on what we need to know vocabulary wise. Thank you
You
for
got it.
You're welcome, gang. You're welcome.
All right. So as I mentioned, we were off last week. I was in Houston visiting friends in both Houston and in the Hill Country, in between Houston, San Antonio, and Austin. Beautiful area of Houston. I lived there for 28 years. I haven't been there I moved back to Cleveland 15 years ago. I cannot drive in Houston anymore. The traffic is absolutely atrocious. There are just so many people. We were on a freeway that is a 24-lane freeway,
Oh my
and
gosh.
Oh
Wow.
my.
almost a traffic jam. That's how much traffic was on that particular freeway. So I mentioned the last time I drove in Houston was about 3 or 4 years ago, and it took almost a week for my knuckles and my fingers to be able to
Get back to normal.
Yeah.
gripping on the steering wheel so tightly. Other than that, the food was great. The weather was good. And I want to talk a little bit about that. I want to get some of our photos up here. While I'm doing that, I want to mention to all of you that we are on YouTube. Check for the links on my website, paulseaburn.com, on Karen's website, newclevelandradio.net. Find out how to watch us on YouTube. And the reason why I say that is because we have a lot of interesting and fun photos that go along with the show, including one that's coming right up here. So there's our logo. Here is another one of our sponsors. What would you say to a naked space alien? My new book. Lots of fun stories about my favorite alien encounters that people have had and told me about. So check it out. It's on Amazon. There's a link on my website, paulseaburn.com. Okay, so hardest part of the trip to Houston was getting through the TSA. And I'll tell you the reason why. My lovely wife was taking gifts to our friends in Houston. And by gifts, I mean gifts of food. They all love Cleveland food. So here's my wife at the airport. In addition to her carry-on luggage, she had 40 kilograms of kielbasa, pickles, and it looks like poppy seed roll there, John. What did you say? Does that look good?
Yeah, it looks like poppy seed. Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Wow.
Obviously, that's not my lovely wife, but we have come close to packing that much food into one bag when we were living down there to take back, because we love Cleveland kielbasa and pierogies and all that good stuff. So I mentioned I had some great Mexican food, some great Texas barbecue, but I missed Cleveland food. And there's things that you can get in Cleveland that you can't get anywhere else, including things like this. This is kielbasa flavored Lay's potato chips. How about that? This is a real thing. Kielbasa flavored Lay's potato chips.
Whoa.
You have to go to a Polish grocery store, and I'm not sure where there are any in the Cleveland area. But John, we used to make our own kielbasa flavored potato chips. We'd wait while Mom was boiling the kielbasa. I'd run up there with regular Lay's chips and I'd dunk them in the kielbasa water. And
it gives you the flavor, though. That will give you the flavor, Karen. I mean, yeah.
So this is a real thing, Lay's kielbasa flavored potato chips. Also, we just had Mother's Day. So I know some of my friends got their moms the traditional Cleveland gift, and that would be a pierogi dress. So here's a picture of an American Girl doll wearing the traditional pierogi dress that the ladies like to wear in Cleveland. Karen, you would look good in that, don't you
Yes,
think?
I think that's adorable. Yes.
And also the gift to give your mom on Mother's Day. I didn't get to talk about this last week, but it's everybody's favorite pierogi M&Ms. You know,
Oh,
you can't. It's still got the chocolate on the outside, but pierogies on the inside. I don't know if they're potato or sauerkraut. Doesn't really matter. It melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
okay.
Oh, let
I
me ask you a question here. So, are they available to the public? These
No,
M&Ms?
no. This is this is from my friends at Polish Food News and T-shirts. We got a wonderful Facebook page I like to go to and get all these cool pictures of things that I wish existed. You would not believe when I posted on Facebook how many people asked the same question you just did, John. Where can I get this? Uh,
Wow.
I wish
Sure.
yeah, yeah. We could probably make M&Ms, but we couldn't call them M&Ms, pierogi flavored M&Ms. We'd have to call them something else. We could call them J&Ps, John and Paul's chocolate flavored pierogies.
Okay.
Ooh, okay.
Trademark infringement, obviously, right?
Yep.
Obviously. Okay, well, Karen mentioned that we've got some great Bigfoot stories. Northeast Ohio is Bigfoot Central in 2026. Down in Texas, they heard about the Bigfoots that appeared earlier this year. All across Northeast Ohio, we had 8 sightings in a matter of just 10 days. That is highly unusual in the Bigfoot world. Uh, so what's happening is that Bigfoot experts from around the country, Washington State, where there's a lot of Bigfoot people, up Minnesota and Wisconsin, they're coming to Northeast Ohio, and they're doing extra investigation because they weren't satisfied with the initial reports of Bigfoot. And one of the things they found, and this is for you, John, they actually found some photographs of the footprints. They found the footprints were already gone by the time they got here, but they did find some photographs. They also said that one of the guys said that the Bigfoot. This was the headline. I wanted a story. One of the interviews. Bigfoot had an unusually long body part. The particular Bigfoot that roamed through Northeast Ohio. So I'm thinking we're finally going to find out if Bigfoot could qualify as a porn star or if he
Uh-oh.
Oh
or
boy.
or I know, or if he suffers from shrinkage, like on Seinfeld. Don't worry, I don't have any photos of that. Uh,
That's good to hear.
well, John, not to disappoint you, but what he was referring to was Bigfoot's arms. He had unusually long Bigfoot arms. So I personally was disappointed in that. But I was happy to see the footprints. So let's take a look. Here's a group of at least 2, maybe 3, 4 footprints on a grassy knoll somewhere in Northeast Ohio. And here is a magnified version of one of the footprints. So, John, my expert, what do you think of that footprint?
Well, I'll tell you what. First of all, the thing that strikes me on it is large. Look how large that footprint is. If that is a footprint, right? I mean, it's very big. I guess maybe it was created by a Bigfoot. I don't know.
I, I'm trying to get my sound back. Is
Oh
that last thing?
no, what I said was that it's a very large footprint. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, I mean clearly, and maybe it is of a Bigfoot. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like there's some toes or some semblance of toes at the top. Uh,
Right. Hmm.
and compared to the leaf, I guess that's your gauge for uh,
Size. Yeah.
size.
Yeah.
Um, it's hard to say one way, but you know, it the more attention that we can bring to Northeast Ohio and to the Bigfoot Lollapalooza, whatever it was that we had over in the spring. Everyone's hoping. One of the things that the experts said is that they all agree that this is a sign of probably a Bigfoot family either passing through or more likely settling down in the Northeast Ohio area. So we should,
Wow.
yeah, we should be seeing some more, Karen. So you're right down there in the heart of Bigfoot territory where you're at. Um, very close to where many of the sightings were. So if anybody knows, you'll be the first to know, and you'll be talking, right?
I'm excited. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Leave some donuts on your front porch. Those are,
Oh, that's a good idea. I'll do that. Yes.
So while we're talking about Bigfoot, I want to give an update on a really cool thing that's happening as a result of the many Bigfoot sightings here. People in Northeast Ohio are getting excited about Bigfoot, and we talk about them on the show. But one of them that has really caught our eye, and then conversely, we caught their eye, is the Mahoning Valley Scrappers, a minor league baseball team in the Mahoning Valley, basically in the Warren, Ohio area. Turns out this minor league team, because of all the Bigfoot activity, decided to honor Bigfoot by changing the name of the Scrappers from the Scrappers to the Grassmen. Now, here's a picture of the promo that they have there. So on Thursday, June 11th, the team will change their name officially from the Scrappers to the Grassmen. Regular listeners of the show know that the Grassman is the name that Native Americans and early settlers in Ohio gave to the Bigfoots that they saw because of all the grasses, the tall grasses that we have in Ohio, and things that look like maybe huts or nests or something made out of grass that they thought the Bigfoots were using. So the Grassmen are going all in on this. They're having a game, regular scheduled game. They've got T-shirts, they've got hats, all available on their website. I was going to give you the name of the website, but it was like, about 80 characters long. So just Google Mahoning Valley Scrappers or Mahoning Valley Grassmen, and you'll get all the information. Here's another picture of some of the fine quality stuff they have. And the biggest news, of course, is that Karen, myself, and John will be covering the game in conjunction with Channel 13. So we will be. We're still working out the details on this. So we're scheduled to be down in Warren on June 14th. We're also going to be looking for Bigfoot right before we go. Yes. Yeah, since Karen is in the heart of Bigfoot territory, we'll probably just sit in her house and look out the window.
That's the easier way to do it.
The safest, John.
Yes, absolutely.
So more information will be forthcoming. We'll probably have some videos on Channel 13 as well as probably on my Facebook page and on newclevelandradio.net. We'll have videos everywhere. So watch our Facebook pages for more information, and we'll be talking about it on upcoming shows. June 11th. Mark that date. June 11th.
And you can all come join us at the game.
Oh, yeah. Oh, the tickets are very, very reasonable. I think general admission is $2.50. So that means beer is probably cheap. Hot dogs. This is minor league baseball, so they have good food. They like to bring you to the stadium to have a fun night out, fun affordable night out for your family. So
absolutely.
Yeah. We're looking forward to that. Okay. So let's start with a music story with a Cleveland connection. It really has all the things that I like in a music story for What in the World. We've got a Cleveland link and we've got trivia. So John, be ready. Karen, by the way, Karen is starting to get more involved with trivia. So we're going to include Karen in some of it.
Okay, let's do it.
You need some help, John? Is that what you're?
Oh, yeah, I'll use all the help I can get.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Okay, here's your first question. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame just announced their 2026 inductees. Give me 2 inductees this year, each one of you. How about that? John, we'll start with you.
Oh boy. I'm drawing a blank. I'm sorry to say.
Oh, good. Okay, Karen, you can vault into the lead here.
I have no idea. I have been following it.
Okay, here's 3. Phil Collins.
Oh, okay.
Billy Idol.
Mm-hmm.
And Iron Maiden. So we've kind of covered somewhat the 3 different
genres,
music genres with those 3 there. Now, Who didn't make it? That list is long. I'm not going to ask you for nominees there because that's the person who didn't make it is who we're talking about, and that is Mariah Carey. There's the lovely Mariah Carey right there. So Mariah Carey, believe it or not, has been eligible for the Rock Hall since 2015,
Wow.
which means which means that she must have been recording music as soon as she was born. Because she can't be that old. She cannot be that old. But nonetheless, she's been eligible and she has not been nominated. So they interviewed her and she claims that it doesn't bother her, but it does. It does. She told to a reporter who asked her about it. She says, I quote, "Who cares? Give it to someone else. Fantastic." So very sarcastic answer right there. The rumor is that she plans to take her revenge out on both the Rock Hall and the music business by coming out with another annoying 12-song Christmas album.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
drive us crazy while we're shopping, John.
Yeah.
Paul, am I right on this? That doesn't an artist have to be stop recording for 25 years or something like that to be
No,
eligible?
they have to have been recording for
Oh,
25.
been recording. I'm sorry, for 25 years. Okay, got
No.
it.
You're not going to get your wish of Mariah Carey stopping. She's going to continue.
Okay.
So, so her friends say that she really does want to get in. She says that they said that at night, if you look in her window, which I would never do, if you look in her window, she stares at a picture of the Rock Hall while singing, "All I Want for Christmas Is You." So
Okay.
she wants it. Now, if she really and truly decides that she's giving up on the Rock Hall and officially Mariah Carey is no longer under consideration, a number of people have stepped up to take her place. 3 of them: Jim Carrey, Drew Carey, and John Carey. So one of those 3 will step in for Mariah Carey if she doesn't want. Now, she is in, get a load of this. She's not in the Rock Hall, but she is in the Holiday Music Hall of Fame. Who knew there was a
Whoa.
Yeah. Now, they don't have a nice building like the Rock Hall does. In fact, they don't have a building at all. It's just a website with a list of members. I think they're trying to find a place, maybe in Frankenmuth, Michigan, which is Santa Claus capital of the United
Right, yeah, sure it would be. Or it is, I should say, yeah.
Yeah, John. So here's your next trivia question. Mariah Carey was inducted to the Holiday Hall of Fame in 2025, along with a number of other inductees. So I'll give you their name. You give me their famous Christmas song. Darlene Love. Karen, you can jump in anytime here.
Oh, I'm jumping.
Darlene
I know Darlene Love. I'm trying to think of the name of the song that she made.
Christmas Baby, Please Come Home. Darlene,
okay.
every Christmas for 20 years, she would appear on David Letterman's show and sing that song on the last show of the year.
Wow.
Very
Okay.
Bing Crosby.
White Christmas.
White Christmas. Sure.
Elvis Presley.
Blue Christmas.
I was going to say not white, but blue. And Mariah Carey, of course, All I Want for Christmas Is You. Believe it or not, Rolling Stone magazine in 2023 listed the top 10, probably the top 100 singers of all time. And who was at number 5? Mariah Carey.
Wow.
Yes, I was shocked. So here's the who was ahead. Who do you think was a better singer? And that's a long list. A better singer than Mariah Carey. Let's just go with females because it's both male and female. Karen, better singer than Mariah Carey.
Adele.
Adele. Oh, that's a good one. Not on the list. John.
What about Celine Dion?
Celine Dion, another good one. Not on the list.
Really?
Ahead of Mariah Carey? Aretha Franklin was at number 1. I think we can all agree Queen of Soul belongs at number 1. Number 2, Whitney Houston. I think she belongs up there. Number 3, Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke was number 3. John, what was Sam Cooke's big hit?
Oh, yeah, I'm drawing a blank on that too, Paul. I'm sorry.
Chain Gang.
Okay.
Number 4, Billie Holiday. Not exactly a rock singer, but certainly a wonderful
Blues.
singer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 5, Mariah Carey. Number 6, Ray Charles. Number 7, Stevie Wonder. 8, Beyonce. Number 9, Otis Redding. And number 10, Al Green. Nickname
Wow.
John.
Al Green's nickname?
Yeah. The
Oh,
Reverend Al Green.
oh, I forgot. I had actually forgotten that.
That's right. Yeah. But John, 1 week of vacation, and John is really in a slump.
Yeah.
He's like the but he'll just like the Cavaliers. John will come back here.
Thanks,
Okay,
Yes, he
Paul.
was.
one last Mariah trivia, and then I know you're tired of hearing about Mariah. She was named for a song. What song was she named for?
Ave Maria?
Oh, good guess.
No,
Good guess.
isn't that the a Belafonte song?
Uh, no. Pronounce it.
It's
She was
part of
named.
Mariah,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, her name is Mariah. The Mariah is in the title of the song.
Yeah.
What did you say?
I thought it was a Harry Belafonte song.
He may have recorded it. The name of the song is "They Call the Wind Mariah."
Mariah. Yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, Karen. Here's here's your follow-up question for 25 more points. What musical was that song debuted in? Who knew we had such a trivia cut? Oh, okay, I didn't know the answer to this one either.
No idea.
John, it is Paint Your Wagon. Paint Your Wagon.
Okay.
Yeah, 1951. Still a musical that's put on by high schools around the country. My favorite song of Paint Your Wagon was not They Call the Wind Mariah, but Hand Me Down That Can of Beans.
That's interesting, Paul.
Don't ask me to sing it. You don't want to hear me sing. Okay. So when asked to comment on our trivia questions, Mariah Carey said, "Who cares?" So I just feel the same way about that as the Rock Hall. Speaking of music, this is definitely for you, John. Lazy Boy. You're very familiar with Lazy Boys. I know that. Lazy
Sure.
has come out with a new line of audio recliners that have speakers in the seat, not just in the seat, but right underneath your butt, where your butt is planted.
Wow.
I'll get to that. So you can pick up music through your butt. That's technically they said it nicer than that, but that's basically the reason why. Which I don't know. I can't think of any music I want to hear through my butt. That's certainly not maybe death metal or something. I don't know. If you need speakers built into your Lazy Boy, you're not using the Lazy Boy for what God intended, which is to sit down and be asleep 5 minutes after you sit down.
Just relax. That's right, Paul.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
right.
The last thing I want to hear from my doctor when he's putting on that blue glove to examine me is he says, "Here's your problem. You've been listening to your stereo volume way too high." Now, John, I came up with the one band whose name says this is the kind of music you should listen to through your butt. The name of that band is the Association.
Oh, you got the horn out?
And that deserves a horn. There you go.
Yes, please, please.
So here's some other songs I don't want to hear through my butt. Poke Salad Annie. Don't want to hear that through my butt. I'm not even going to ask you who wrote that. It's originally recorded by Tony Joe White. How about this one? Don't want to hear this through your butt. How Deep Is Your Love?
Oh, no.
Sorry, Karen. By the Beach Boys. Not the Beach Boys, the Bee Gees. I'm sorry.
Bee Gees, right.
Saturday Night Fever. Saturday Night Fever is also what you get when you listen to that song through your butt.
Yeah.
And finally, the song I don't want to listen to through my butt, the Hokey Pokey. And on that note, let's get out of that story. Okay. We like to talk about sports mascots on the show. I've asked this question before of pro teams or college teams. that have dinosaurs as their mascot? Remember that question, John?
Yes, I do.
Do you remember the answer?
No, I don't.
There's a theme to the show today. The Toronto Raptors is the one that the professional team that most people think of.
Right.
The Colorado Rockies are called the Rockies, but their mascot is the Triceratops, which is another famous dinosaur. Also, the mascot of our own Cuyahoga Community College in Cleveland, which is normally called Tri-C, which is short for Triceratops. So this recently I found out about another university, University of Calgary in Alberta, Canada. Their mascot is the dinos, or which is short for the dinosaurs. They set a Guinness World Record for the largest gathering of people dressed as dinosaurs. Here's a picture of that group right here. You are looking at a portion of 682 people, every single one of them dressed as a dinosaur to set the record. Yeah.
Oh, that's unique.
That's the
very
beautiful University of Alberta campus there, University of Calgary. Imagine the shock for the students. That might be a dorm right behind them. Imagine the shock of students waking up in the morning, looking out the window, after a hard night of partying and seeing 600 dinosaurs on the campus.
Yep.
That's enough to make you spit your gummy out or dump out your bong water or whatever it is you were.
It's not something you see every day, Paul.
Karen. You don't want to see every day either. Lost my place there. So I'm guessing, with all these costumes out, this is what everybody's going to be doing for Halloween too. So maybe they'll break another record then. According to the local sports news, the Dinos were undefeated this year until they played the Comets, who destroyed them.
No.
Oh.
I only got one. Wow, I'm going to have to get a new horn. Okay, so we were talking about the Rubik's Cube. Karen had a comment. Why would we talk about a flying Rubik's Cube? I'm going to tell you right now. So, normally we like to talk about Rubik's Cubes. It's always in the context of setting some sort of world record. People do them underwater. They do them behind their back. They do them fast. They do them up their nose. They're solving Rubik's Cubes everywhere. This guy solved the Rubik's Cube fastest time while skydiving. Wow. There he is.
Wow.
Tom Kopke of Germany set a Guinness World Record for the fastest time to solve a Rubik's Cube, which in the article, they weren't allowed to call it a Rubik's Cube, so they called it a rotating puzzle cube.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Everybody knows.
I get
Rubik's
that, right?
Cube.
Sure.
So he was in free fall. So he jumped out of the plane. He solved it in 23.33 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. He also set a second world record for saying over and over again for 23.33 seconds, who convinced me to do this?
Yeah, really. Wow.
He was traveling over 100 miles an hour while solving this puzzle. I don't even like to blow my nose when I'm driving 25 miles an hour in my car. 100 miles an hour, he's falling in the sky solving this thing.
Wow.
And if you notice, he's on his back. Now which is not the normal position that you're in when you're skydiving. You're normally looking at the ground to see where you're at, so you know when to pop the parachute. But the wind was beating on the cube so bad that he couldn't turn it. So he had to flip over so there was less wind resistance. Also, it was to keep the Rubik's Cube from turning white from fright looking down at the ground.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
So he's looking up at the sky, thinking, oh, I got plenty of time, which obviously he doesn't. Luckily, there's this other guy here taking pictures to let him know when he needs to pull the ripcord. Hardest thing was convincing the cube itself that it didn't need its own separate parachute. He kept telling it, don't worry, I'll hold on to you.
Yeah.
So this had me thinking about parachutes. I will never jump out of a plane. I don't like heights. I don't even, if I could sleep on the floor, I would. I'm just not a heights person. John, would you jump out of a plane?
No, but my brother Frank actually did, and
Did he really?
he said it was a tremendous experience. Yeah, yeah. No, I would not do it though. Yeah, my
I
brother
did
Frank
not
did
do
though.
that. And he was not, I don't think he did this while he was in the service. He just did it for fun.
No, he did it for fun. Yeah, he did it for fun on one
Wow.
Sunday. Yeah, he gets
That's unbelievable.
well.
So
Yeah,
I
real
looked
quick.
up, oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, real quick. So the day that he went to do this, they trained early in the morning to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they set you up, and then you jump out of the plane.
Wow.
Yeah,
That just sounds way too
Not
risky.
me.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, but speaking of risk, okay, so I looked up who came up with the first parachute, and it was a guy in France. His name was Louis Sebastian Lenormand in 1786, I think it was. He invented the parachute before they invented the hot air balloon. So what was he jumping off of? He was jumping off a building. That's what he was using because there was no way to get any higher than that. This is the building.
Uh-huh.
Incredible drawing that they
Yeah.
made.
Wow.
Yeah, he was also a monk. He was an inventor and he was also a monk, which can you imagine Friar Tuck jumping off of a building? Basically an
Wow.
umbrella. I don't think
Yeah.
that would work. So this is the Montpellier Observatory in France. Um, his parachute was basically a 14-foot umbrella with a wooden frame. That was the first parachute, which this was the inspiration for dozens of Roadrunner cartoons, jumping
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
and in other cartoons as well. So a couple months later, they had the first hot air balloon launch, and then they started using the parachute to jump out of hot air balloon. Also, something that kids don't try this at home. John, Karen, don't you try it either. So let's move on to a sports subject here. So one that I like, rugby. I played rugby for a couple years when I was in college. A woman in New Zealand loves rugby so much, she got married on a Saturday morning, and then she and her husband immediately went to the rugby match that he was playing in. So
Whoa.
yeah, right from the wedding to the rugby match. There's a picture of the lovely bride and her husband, her new husband. She's such a fan of rugby. Instead of throwing a bouquet, she had all of the women do a scrum over it.
Oh,
So they interviewed her husband, her new husband, and he said it was love at first sight. Of course, she was drinking a beer, so of course it's love at first sight for a rugby player. And but even more importantly, she sang all the dirty rugby songs. She knew all the words to the dirty rugby. That's love right there. The minister, however, who was there, he blew a penalty whistle when the groom stepped offside before he was officially told he could kiss the bride. So
No.
there's the referee right there with his whistle. So the team that they play for is the Hornets Rugby Football Club, and they won the game. So that made it even better. They won the game 45-19. Then they went on to their honeymoon, right? Wrong. They went to the reception. The whole rugby team and all their dates and the bride and the groom, they went to the reception just near the field after the game. The and right next to that was the Pear Orchard Pub. So of course they went to the pub and they partied all night long.
wow.
True rugby players and fans. Now, for those people who look down on rugby players, check this out. The opposing team that they played was a team called the Blake Bears. Blake Bears. Their players ranged in age from teenagers to 78 years old. So this,
Whoa.
yeah, in England, their age doesn't matter when it comes to rugby. They laugh at these pickleball players. They're 78 years old. They're out there playing rugby. They actually, and this is so rugby-ish, they actually started partying during the game when the Bears, the other team knew they weren't going to win. They decided to switch from tackle to touch, and they allowed their girlfriends and their wives to join them on the field. So
Wow.
everybody was on the field playing touch rugby before they went
Wow.
to the reception. At the reception, they had a tattoo artist. This is so unbelievable. A tattoo artist for any guest who wanted to get a tattoo. One of the guests actually got the Hornets logo, their mascot, tattooed on his butt. And I'm not going to show you his butt. Here's the mascot though. There you go. So he got
Wow.
that. Yeah.
Right?
Looking at that mascot, that had to sting.
Yeah. Yep.
There we go. My horn is back. Um, you know, wouldn't this be a great idea for weddings in Cleveland to have a tattoo artist at your reception?
I'm
No.
wondering if it's not been done already.
I bet you it has, John. In fact, instead of a hornet, I'll tell you exactly what you need to get tattooed when you're at a wedding reception in Cleveland, and that is a kishka. Here's a in fact, this is my tattoo right here. I have a kishka
Whoa.
on my leg. It looks like my leg, right?
Yep.
This is
Sure.
so you get a kishka tattooed on you, and then when the band plays the song or the DJ plays Who Stole the Kishka, you show them where you got your kishka tattoo.
Whoa.
Unless, of course, it's someplace that you don't want to expose at a wedding reception.
Oh.
John, you don't have a kishka tattoo?
I do not, Paul, and I'm glad I don't. No offense intended on that. No
I'm
offense.
shocked. I'm shocked. Okay. All right. So finally, my favorite story of the week. This was the most popular story. This is a story, one of the most popular stories I posted on Facebook in a long time. It has to do with Goldie Hawn. John, Karen, you both remember Goldie Hawn.
Sure.
What was the TV
Yep.
show she'd made her debut on?
Was Laughing.
Yep.
Laughing. Rowan and Martin's Laughing was the official
Right.
title. Dan Rowan and Dick Martin were the hosts. Goldie Hawn was on the Jimmy Kimmel show this week, and she revealed that when she was younger, extraterrestrials with triangular shaped heads. Here's a picture of Goldie, by the way. With extraterrestrials with triangular shaped heads appeared to her and touched her face, then returned months later and temporarily paralyzed her by beaming a high-pitched sound into her ear. This was before she was even on, before she became an actress. This happened to her when she was still a teenager. She could tell, though, that they were fans of hers because they wrote messages on her legs and they kept telepathically saying, "Sock it to me, sock it to me."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's a picture of Goldie and the aliens over here, an incredible simulation. And here's a picture of Goldie on Laughing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So for those of you who didn't get the joke because you're not old enough, back when Laughing was on 1968 to 1973, Goldie was one of the comedians, and she also used to go-go dance, and she would have funny messages written on all over her body,
Right.
for the parts that the bikini covered. So one of the aliens, this is also from the show, one of the aliens told her to blow in my ear and I'll follow you anywhere. But as you can see, she couldn't find the ear on any of the aliens, so she couldn't. You couldn't follow her. Her good friend, one of her friends from the show, told her that the next time the aliens showed up, she should hit them over the head with her purse and kick them in their walnuttos.
Oh.
Oh.
Okay. Like Ruth Buzzy.
There you go. All
Right,
the
yeah,
Fuzzy
right.
and
That's right.
Artie
Very
Johnson,
good
all those
character.
old Laugh-In references. Now, why do I bring up Laugh-In? And for you kids, ask your parents or your grandparents about Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, because it has something to do with our show. Rowan and Martin, well, first Goldie Hawn, the lovely Goldie Hawn, she received an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for the movie Cactus Flower. Very funny movie with Walter Matthau. One of her early movies, she received an Academy Award, Best Supporting Actress. And then later, she received a nomination for Best Actress in the movie Private Benjamin, also a very funny movie. So, if you don't know much about Goldie Hawn, she is a very funny comedic actress, funny comedian. She's also married to Kurt Russell. And Kurt Russell has another UFO connection. For the people in the UFO world, real quickly, there's something called the Phoenix Lights. And back in 1997, a number of people in Phoenix looked up in the sky and they saw a V formation of lights going across the sky that were not picked up on radar, that no one could explain. Who was flying a plane near the Phoenix lights on that night in 1997? None other than Kurt Russell and his son. And he talked about it. Yeah, he interviewed. He to this day he says, I don't know what it was, but I was there when the Phoenix lights appeared. So he's a strong proponent of UFO disclosure. I'm sure he supported Goldie in talking about her alien experience. Um, so I looked up some of Goldie's favorite lines on Laugh-In. One of them was, and this is so true today. She said, I don't see why there should be any question about capital punishment. I think everyone in the Capitol should be punished.
Oh,
Good joke. People are
Yeah.
still laughing at that today.
Yeah.
Someone asked her this question. Hey, Goldie, does the high cost of living bother you? And Goldie says, no, I live on a ground floor apartment.
Good one.
She also finally, when people ask her a certain question, she says, my IQ has never been questioned. Come to think of it, it has never been mentioned. So the ditzy blonde is the character that she played. I miss those days. And you know, when talking about what in the world, and people ask me, you know, what's the theme of the show? I forgot about Laugh-In, and I wanted to mention this. In the pilot episode of Laugh-In, Laugh-In was only supposed to be a special. Dan Rowan and Dick Martin were a famous comedy team back in the 60s, and they were given a special by the network. And they had a bunch of guest stars, and it was so popular that they were brought back, and they were on the air for 6 years and brought back a few years later. Dan Rowan explained the approach of the show, and I want to quote. He says, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to television's first Laugh-In. Now, for the past few years, we have all been hearing about an awful lot about the various ins. There have been be-ins, love-ins, and sleep-ins. This is a laugh-in, and a laugh-in is a frame of mind. For the next hour, we would just like you to sit back and laugh and forget about the other ends. That's what we try to do on What in the World. For our hour, sit back, relax, forget about all your other ins and outs and ups and downs, and just have a laugh. And
Absolutely.
on that note, thank you, Dan Rowan, Dick Martin, Goldie Hawn, and all the other, even Mariah Carey. I'll thank Mariah.
Yeah, well said, Paul. Well said.
Yeah, for all the great stories that we had this week. And that's the end of my stories for the week, which means that regular listeners know it's time for What in the World of Sports with John Dinallo. Regular listeners know that John and I went to college together. We met on the first day of college. We're fraternity brothers, been friends ever since. John, on most days, knows more about sports and trivia than anybody else.
Thanks for the qualifier, Paul. Thanks.
So he's the perfect guy for this show. I challenge him every week. John, find us a sport that lives up to our motto, real sport, sometimes strange, always funny. John manages to find one every week. He's got a great one for us this week. John, what are you going to be talking about?
Oh, Paul, thanks for the introduction. So our sport this week for everyone is one that you've probably never heard of. And the sport is called cycle ball. It is also known as radball in Germany, and it is a sport similar to soccer, but it is played on bicycles. Let me explain. Two people on each team ride a fixed gear bicycle with no brakes. The ball in play is controlled by the bike and the person's head, except when the person is defending the goal. Now, cycle ball was introduced in 1883 by an American artist cyclist, Nicholas Edward Kaufman, and the first match was played between Kaufman and fellow artistic cyclist John Featherly. FYI for everyone, artistic cycling is another sport where cyclists use the same bikes but perform tricks and acrobatic stunts with those bikes.
Hmm.
Now, the first Cycleball World Championships were held in 1929 and quickly spread to Germany, which today is the location of the sport's largest fan base. Cycleball is also popular in Austria, Switzerland, and the Czech Republic. The most successful players in the sport were the Pospisil brothers of Czechoslovakia, who were world champions, believe it or not, 20 times between 1965 and 1988.
Wow.
Now, as to the rules of cycleball, a game is played by two teams of two players for two halves, each lasting 7 minutes. Matches take place on a rectangular field measuring 14 meters in length and 11 meters in width. The goals are square and they measure 2 by 2 meters, as you can see here. Passes and goals are made by quickly turning the front wheel of the bike to flick the ball or using either wheel to deflect the ball. And of course, using the head to direct the ball is painfully allowed. Now, the team that scores the most points at the end of the second half is declared the winner. Now, the UCI Indoor Cycling World Championships annually host both cycleball and artistic cycling world championship events. Last year in 2025, the men's team of Raphael Kopp and Bernard Malady of Germany won the gold medal. The Austrian team of Stefan Furstein and Patrick Schnetzer won the silver medal, and the Swiss team of Timon Frolik and Yannick Frolik won the bronze medal. Also in 2025, the German women's team of Danielle Holzer and Judith Wolf took the gold medal. The Swiss team of Sava Baumann and Chiara Dottoli won the silver medal, and the bronze medal was won by Sayaka Tokuhiro and Nana Yamashika of Japan. Cycleball sounds like a sport that could be popular once again in America. But if you're going to use your head, please use your head and wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Cycleball. You know, you're right, John. That looks like something that I can't believe it didn't stay popular in the United States as much
Well,
as like,
yeah, we're right, Paul. I think it's kind of challenging, obviously, right? I mean, it's
yeah.
a challenging sport, right? But yeah, you would think it would be popular. A lot of people are athletic, and a lot of people would want to take on the challenge. And yeah, surprisingly, it has not.
Don't need that many people for a team, you know, two people to a team.
Right, sure, exactly.
It appears you kind of rotate, one person doesn't stay by the goal like a goaltender. I think,
No, you're right. Yeah, because there's
move
only
back and
two
forth.
players per team, right? So
Yeah.
one person's typically on defense and one person's typically on offense.
Yeah.
And kind of playing the middle ball there, so to speak. Yeah.
And a good sport for women to participate in as well. These two ladies right here are Danielle and Judith, the gold medal winners there. So
Okay, the Germans, right?
There's their gold medals. Yeah, it's a sport for the masses, a sport that we could certainly see played in Cleveland and Ohio, throughout the United States. Maybe we ought to try starting up a league. That might be fun to do. Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
We don't really have enough time to do that. However, I was thinking about this, John. You said it was a sport that you probably never heard of, and originally I thought you were right. But the more I thought about it, the more I remembered way back when we were in college. It seems to me that we were challenged by another fraternity to a cycle ball tournament. Do you remember doing that?
I'm going to have to say I don't, Paul. So help educate me on this.
Well, as always, luckily the Carroll News was happy to provide me with some photos and some news stories to bring me up to speed on it. So we were challenged by another fraternity to a game of cycle ball, and the older guys in our fraternity said to John and myself, the younger guys, "Hey, you guys get us some bikes and figure out how to do this." So we were having a hard time coming up with enough bikes. So one of the ideas that John and I had was to do it on tandem bikes. That way we only needed half as many bikes. Unfortunately, we were not really coordinated.
Whoa.
There's a picture of us flying through the air with somebody was in the back falling off the back. So then we decided to focus on something that we knew more about, and that would be beer. So we counter challenged the other team to a game of cycle beer. And they agreed. So I went to work on a cycle beer bicycle. And here's my cycle beer bicycle right here.
Oh,
How
wow.
about that? Yeah. So
Wow.
a bicycle with 2 kegs of beer on it and me pedaling behind there. You can tell that's me by the beard and my kielbasi tattoo on my arm there. Kishka. So of course, John is much smarter and more ingenious than I am. He came up with a better idea, which we eventually used, and that was the multi-person beer
Ooh.
bicycle. So you can see right here, it looks like there's 5 guys on each side pedaling away. We have a complete bar stocked with beer there. One of us must have known German because the sign on there says it's in German. There's a
Beer
big
bike, right? Sure.
barrel of beer. So of course we won because when it comes to drinking beer, we knew better than anybody else on campus as to how to do that. So I hope I refreshed your memory on cycle.
No, you did, Paul. That was great. That was a great reminder. Thank you.
And thank you once again, John, for that great sport cycle. What was it again?
You're welcome, Paul. Karen, audience. Thank you.
Cycle ball. Okay. That brings us to the end of What in the World of Sports, which means regular listeners know it's time for Bluff, the co-host, everybody's favorite weird news game. Oh, the game that is spreading around the world. Bluff, the co-host. Everybody loves playing it because it's a simple game. Let's take that down there. The rules are simple. I have 3 stories similar to the ones that we've been talking about all afternoon. One big difference. Those stories were real. The stories in Bluff the co-host may be real, may be a bluff. It's up to John, Karen, and all of you playing at home to decide real or bluff. Wagering is allowed, so place your bets. John and Karen, hands on the buzzer. Let's get right to story number 1. The drive-through clerk at a Burger King in Florida got a shock recently when she opened a window, looked down, and saw an alligator staring up at her. There was no one behind the gator, so she got a burger from the warmer and dropped it down to the ground. The gator chomped it down and wandered away. That's not the end of the story, however. The next day at about the same time, the clerk heard the drive-through bell, opened the window, and saw the same gator waiting again. So she dropped another burger and added a couple of fries, which the gator gobbled down and walked away again. This went on for 3 days, and the whole Burger King staff got in on it. Unfortunately, on the 6th day, a car came in behind the gator and started honking at it. That was the last time the disappointed clerk saw her burger-loving gator. Needless to say, she didn't drop a free burger to the driver of the car. So, story from Florida. A Burger King was visited 6 days by an alligator who they gave a burger to every day until it got honked at and was never seen again. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
It's a cute story, but I'm going to say it's a bluff.
Okay.
No reason, just
No reason.
the bluff.
Gut feel. Karen says it's a bluff. All right, John, how about you?
I agree with Karen. I think it's a bluff. And I'm just wondering how an alligator would choose to go to Burger King 6 days in a row. So I just find it very hard to believe. It's possible, I guess. But
where should it go? To a seafood restaurant?
yeah, I mean, you all of a sudden the alligator, the same alligator acquires a taste for Burger King food. I don't know. I just don't see it happening.
Hey, you've had a Whopper. You know how good they are.
Oh yeah, yes, I understand that, but I just don't see the same alligator coming 6 days in a row. I just don't think it's possible.
Okay.
I mean, it is possible. I just don't think it happened though.
Okay, you don't think it happened. All right, so John says it's a bluff. Karen says it's a bluff. Let's check with the judges. The judges say, congratulations to both of you. That is a bluff.
Right.
Okay, good.
Thank you for the compliment on a cute.
Yeah.
All right, so the score is 1-1. Let's get right to story number 2. Before you invest in one of those I've fallen and I can't get up buttons, you may want to check out the new robotic tails being made in Japan to keep people from falling down in the first place. The tails have sensors and artificial muscles which help keep your balance. If you lean left, the tail swings right. If you lean down, the tail swings up. If you do the hokey pokey, it does nothing because it's a Japanese robot. But the manufacturer guarantees that this counter movement tail provides enough force to change the body's momentum and center of gravity, thus correcting your balance and keeping you upright and on your feet. The tail works, but it is still in development while they figure out how to make the wearer look less silly with it on. Okay, so people in Japan are testing out a wearable tail that keeps them from falling down. Real or bluff? John, we'll start with you on this one.
You know, I thought initially that it was not going to be possible, but the more I think of it, people in Japan are ingenious and come up with new ideas and new products all the time. I'm going to say it's a real story. I'm going to say it's true.
Okay. Would you wear one?
No.
Okay, so Karen, or John says that's a real story. Karen, how about you?
I'm going to say it's another bluff. I can't picture anybody wearing anything like that.
Wow, okay, not even John.
Not even John.
Not even
No.
John. Okay. All right. So let's see. So John says it's real. Karen says it's a bluff. The judges say congratulations go to John. That is a real story. And John,
Wow.
you always request photos. Let me see if I can bring up a photo really quick of this so Karen can see. There's a picture of a man wearing one of the.
Oh,
no.
wow.
Isn't that unbelievable?
Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Wow.
Kind of dinosaurish.
Yes. Wow.
Okay.
What
All
will
right.
they think of next?
What? Oh, wait. Tune into next week's show.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So that means the score is 2-1. John got both of them right, but points are doubled in round number 3. So Karen could come roaring back. So let's see if she does, or if John wins. I think you won the last time we were on.
Yes, you did. Yes.
Yes, I did. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Story number 3. Police in a small town in Sicily were called out to stop teenagers from drag racing down their country roads, only to find that the teenagers were driving horse-drawn carts. No, they weren't Amish tourists having fun on their Sicilian vacation. They were local horse racers competing illegally while hundreds of spectators lined the streets, placing bets and following behind the carts on scooters. The racers and spectators scattered when the cops arrived, but they investigated a nearby stable and found some sweaty horses, hot scooters, fresh road apples, and piles of money, leading to the arrest of the owner and 2 stable hands. The police say horse cart drag racing is on the rise in Sicily, partly because of the price of gas, but mostly because the local mob also runs the stable. The only people happy about this are the Amish residents who are no longer getting blamed for the drag racing. Okay, so drag racing using horse-drawn carts in Sicily, sponsored by the mob. Real or bluff? Karen, we'll start with you.
I'm going to say this one's real. Odd as it is, I think it's real.
Wow. Okay. Karen says it's real. Karen, okay. John says,
well, in the great area of Sicily, anything's possible. And I'm going to say it's a real story also. I could see this happening.
you can see the mob getting involved in horse.
Oh, of course, the mob's involved in anything they can to make any money if somehow. Right, exactly.
If they can make money, they're involved. Okay, so
Yes.
both John and Karen say horse-drawn cart drag racing in Sicily is a real story, and the judges say congratulations go to both of you. That is a real story. So extra congratulations go to John. Perfect score this week. Congratulations to you.
No, thank you, Paul, and thank you, Karen. Yes, it feels good to have all 3. It's good.
There you go. Yeah. So no studying this week. You can take the week off. Karen.
No flashcards, right? Yeah.
Karen's gonna have to borrow your flashcards.
Yes, I am. Yep. Yep.
All right. Well, so that means we reached the end of another fun episode. I hope you had fun episode of What in the World. I want to thank Karen Hale, our producer, co-host, media mogul at newclevelandradio.net. Thank you, Karen, for all that you do for us and for all the great podcasts at newclevelandradio.net. Please, everybody listening, check it out. Check out Yes I Can Coaching with Karen while you're there. Check out all of our links. Check out the link to News Cleveland 13, WCTU for more things on what they offer and for the more information soon to be put out there on our excursion to look for Bigfoot and go visit the Mahoning Valley Grassmen baseball team. Also, I want to thank my old buddy John Dinalo, host of What in the World of Sports, all around good guy, puts up with me every week and keeps coming back for more. Big sports week, John.
Yeah, big sports week. We Cavaliers are again about to play Game 5, and hopefully they'll be victorious to continue on.
Yep.
Guardians are playing this week at home, so they're playing the Los Angeles Angels. So let's hope that they can continue their winning ways. They won yesterday 7-2, and again, we need to follow through on the Monsters. Quite frankly,
Yeah,
for
right.
all you hockey fans out there, we'll make sure that we'll be on top of things next week to at least bring you up to speed.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Yeah, we love the Lake Erie Monsters. We love the Lake Erie Monster, Bessie, who we've talked about many times on the show.
Yes,
So
we have. Yes, we have.
good idea to support the Monsters. And most importantly, I want to thank all of you out there listening to us, whether you're listening live, watching us live, or in the future. You've tuned in on another day in the future. I'm hoping we're all still here a couple days from now in the future. Thank you so much for joining us. Again, I want to say, think of us as the laugh-in of the podcast world. We want to make sure that you join us every week, 3:30 Eastern Daylight Time on Tuesdays, or anytime you listen in on your favorite podcast platform, and have fun for an hour. That's all you need. It'll brighten the rest of your day, make you feel better, maybe carry on until tomorrow. And if it doesn't, we've got a whole library, 9 years worth of podcasts.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
That's right. You could there's plenty to look at. That's for
There
sure.
you go. So please check us out. Thank you so much again for being with us on What in the World. And on that note, I am finished. Karen, are we done for the week?
We're done for the week, and we will see you all soon.
Great.
Take care, everybody. Bye now.
Have a great week, everybody.